The all-new CS2511P chainsaw from Echo is now available at Echo dealers. If you haven't heard of the CS2511P, it is a rear-handled version of their popular CS2511T top-handled arborist chainsaw. With the two saws sitting here on the bench, looking down at them, it looks like there's a lot of differences between the two versions of the CS2511. But in reality, they're really the same saw with a different handle bolted on them, or I should say a different style handle bolted onto the engine. When you look at the two saws from this angle here, from that front corner, the first thing that sticks out is definitely the difference in the Inertia activated chain brake handle, the handguard area there between the two saws. It's a bigger, thicker handle on the CS2511P rear handled version, and it also has the spikes on there for felling that the top handle version, the CS2511T, does not have. So aside from those spikes on the CS2511P and the Heftier Handguard on the CS2511P, everything else that is different about these saws is contained in the handle assembly that's mounted to the crankcase. The rear handle version, the CS2511P, has that orange handle that starts at the front and everything orange there on the top of the saw coming back through, including your air cleaner cover and the front handle and the rear handle, throttle, all that stuff. That all mounts on the same way or at the same spots on the crankcase as all the black stuff on the CS2511T for your top handle on that arborist saw. So really, you could just swap out the entire handle assembly between both saws, and you would have the same saw minus those spikes and the Heftier handguard. That's really it. And we're going to show you a little bit better pictures here of some of this stuff and how they were able to make that rear handle work on that crankcase that they use for the CS2511T. So you can see here, looking at this side, all of the rear handle assembly here, it mounts on at the back at the carburetor. You know, you have your air cleaner cover and all that stuff, but they took the stop switch, they took the throttle, everything, and put it into this rear handle assembly. Even the front handle is all a part of that rear handle assembly and doesn't actually fasten to the crankcase itself. The rear handle assembly comes the whole way to the front and attaches to the crankcase where the mount is for the top handled saw in the front. So everything is all contained there in that one unit, and that made it really easy to convert this saw, the CS2511T chainsaw, into the CS2511P rear-handled chainsaw. So when you flip the saws over and you look at the bottom of them, you can get a little bit better idea of what I was talking about with that front handle on the CS2511P being a part of the rear handle assembly. It's not actually fastened to the crankcase itself at all. And if you look at the CS2511T, where it fastens in, the handle on it fastens in at the back, that is actually a part of the top handle assembly as well. So on these saws, they didn't have to change anything with the crankcase to make either of those handles, the front handle on the CS2511P or the side handle on the CS2511T, to mount into the crankcase. Now, if you've ever owned or worked on a CS2511T and you're watching this video, you're probably wondering, well, what about the spark plug? Because that's at a kind of hidden spot on that CS2511T. How do you put a rear handle on this saw and still have access to the spark plug? So here's what they did to solve that issue with getting to the spark plug on the CS2511P with the rear handle. They put a little access hole in the rear handle, and you can just get in there with a screwdriver or something to pop that little locking mechanism off of the spark plug cover, and then flip the saw over and everything's wide open under there. You can easily get to the spark plug, remove it, and put a new one in. So if you were like me and wondering how to access that spark plug, well, you can see there that it was pretty simple. Here we got both saws laying next to each other. It's the same process. It's just that it's wide open on the CS2511T, and you have to go through that little access hole to unlatch the clip on the 2511P. Now, one thing I did forget to mention there when I was talking about the differences between the two saws is that there is actually a difference in the air filters, and obviously the CS2511P it's going to be used in a lot of different working environments because it is a rear-handled saw, and because of that larger handle area, it allows for a larger air filter. So this is a look right here at the CS2511T on your left, and the CS2511P obviously on the right, and you can see the differences there between the air filters. So now, as you probably guessed, with everything included in that rear handle on the CS2511P, the added plastic to the handguard, and you got the little bit of extra weight from the metal felling spikes on that saw, the CS2511P weighs slightly more than the CS2511T. Now, according to Echo, the CS2511P is the lightest weight rear handle gas powered chainsaw available on the market in North America. And just like the CS2511T, the CS2511P comes with either a 12-inch bar or a 14-inch bar, and here are the part numbers for the different bars and the different chains available for the CS2511P. So that was the major differences there between the CS2511T and the all-new CS2511P. If you didn't know what the CS2511P was, or you're wondering what the differences were between those two saws, now hopefully you have a better idea. If you're familiar with the CS2511T, if you ever ran one of them, then you have an idea what you're going to get with the CS2511P, because it's really the same saw, just with a different way of holding the saw. Now, as far as the price on the CS2511P, it is right in line with the top handle version, and it's going to be right around $400 for this new saw. And again, they are available at a lot of Echo dealers out there. If your local Echo dealer didn't get theirs in yet, just be patient, they'll be there soon. And when you go into your dealer to look about purchasing one of these saws or to check it out, make sure to ask them about the fleet program, because it's a good way to save some money, especially when you're buying higher end equipment like this. It doesn't take long for your total purchase to add up and for you to get a discount on your entire purchase. So make sure to ask about the Echo fleet program and see how you can save some money. So that's going to do it for this video. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching.